Carl Jung said the most dangerous person in your life isn't your enemy, it's the friend who never challenges you. Your friends see you through loyalty and shared history. Your enemies see you raw. And that changes everything. By the end of this, you'll know exactly why the people who oppose you are handing you a map to your blind spots and how to use that map to become someone harder to underestimate. Most men are walking through life with a completely inaccurate picture of themselves. Not because they're delusional, but because the people closest to them have a vested interest in keeping them comfortable. That comfort is costing you. Your enemies don't have that interest. They never did. Enemies have no incentive to lie to you, which makes them your most honest source of feedback. Abraham Lincoln didn't surround himself with admirers. He kept his political enemies inside his own cabinet, the men who had run against him, criticized him publicly, and doubted him openly. Historians call it the team of rivals. Lincoln called it necessary. Those enemies sharpened every major decision he made during the Civil War. He didn't win despite their hostility. He sharpened himself because of it. Your friends operate under a social contract. They soften the blow because they care about you or because they care about the friendship. Your enemies have no such contract. What you hear from someone who opposes you is unfiltered signal. No cushion, no agenda, no loyalty tax. It might sting. But it's the clearest data you'll get about how you actually land in the world. What your enemy hates about you shows you exactly where you're visible and where your blind spots lie. Nietzsche was despised by the academic establishment of his time. They attacked his rejection of herd morality, his challenge to comfortable thinking, his refusal to soften his conclusions for wider approval. They called him dangerous. They weren't wrong. And every single thing they attacked turned out to be the ideas that outlasted all of them. Carl Jung's shadow theory tells us that what we hate in others is often what we can't accept in ourselves. But there's a second truth buried in there: you can't hate something that doesn't register. You can't attack something invisible. The intensity of someone's opposition to you is a signal about your strength in that area, not your weakness. Your enemies are essentially pointing at the parts of you that have enough mass to disturb them. That's worth paying attention to. Your friends protect your ego. Your enemies reveal your reputation. Marcus Aurelius wrote in the Meditations about facing criticism from opponents in the Senate. He didn't dismiss it. He didn't immediately defend himself. He asked one question first: is it true? That practice, turning hostile feedback into an honest self-audit, is a large part of why he remained respected even by those who opposed him. He never let comfort override accuracy. Your friends describe who you were. They remember your origin story, your good moments, your intentions. Your enemies describe who you appear to be right now, to people who have no reason to be generous. One is nostalgia. The other is intelligence. If you want to know your actual reputation, not the one you imagine, but the one that exists in rooms you're not in, pay attention to what your opponents say when they're not trying to be fair. Sustained pressure from opposition forces you to become precise about who you are and what you stand for. Viktor Frankl lost everything in the Nazi concentration camps. His captors, the most extreme version of opposition a human being can face, stripped away every external thing he had. What remained, what couldn't be taken, became the entire foundation of logotherapy, the idea that meaning cannot be removed from a man even when everything else has been. He didn't develop that philosophy in comfort. He developed it under maximum pressure. Epictetus built his entire philosophy around one distinction: what is in your power versus what is not. Enemies operate almost entirely in the realm of things outside your control. Their attacks, their opinions, their timing, none of it is yours to manage. But your response is. Practicing that distinction, especially under real pressure, stops being a philosophy and becomes a reflex. That reflex is one of the most durable things a man can build. If no one is bothered by you, you probably don't stand for anything. Machiavelli wrote that a prince who tries to be loved by everyone will be destroyed by everyone. Look at the men who actually built lasting things: Churchill, Lincoln, Roosevelt. Every one of them had fierce, vocal enemies. Not as a side effect of their work. As proof of it. Churchill was called a warmonger for years before the war proved him right. The opposition was the early signal. The enemies were the leading indicator. Schopenhauer laid it out cleanly: all truth passes through three stages. First, it is ridiculed. Then it is violently opposed. Then it is accepted as self-evident. The opposition isn't the obstacle. It's the confirmation that you've said something real enough to disturb the status quo. A man with no enemies has no edges. He has not yet committed to anything sharp enough to cut. 3 things to take with you. First, your enemies have no social contract pushing them to flatter you. Their feedback, as uncomfortable as it is often the clearest signal you will get about how you actually operate in the world. Second, what they attack reveals where you are visible. Intensity of opposition is often a measure of your strength, not your weakness. Jung understood that. So did Nietzsche. So did Lincoln. Third, the pressure enemies create forces precision. It strips away what doesn't hold. What remains after that pressure is applied is the part of you that's actually durable. A man with no enemies has never stood for anything hard enough to test it. If this resonated, subscribe. We drop one every Tuesday and Friday, no fluff, just philosophy applied to how men actually live. And if you've got someone in your life right now who opposes you, who criticizes you, who seems to have made you a project, don't write them off yet. Pay attention to what exactly they're targeting. They might be the most useful person in your world right now.